Okay, so we'll look at the outputs from the epidemiology of PPR and ND, the socioeconomics of PPR and ND, animal mobility in Plateau, epidemiology and socioeconomic survey in Bauchi, PPR virus genotyping, and then a summary of the key message. And then we also look at what we are planning next. So, regarding the epidemiology of PPR and ND, the objectives were to assess the distribution of the two diseases and to see if we can characterize the disease. So both quantitative epidemiology and qualitative epidemiology were carried out. And under these, we have 2 master's students in epidemiology and 1 PhD in biology. So for the quantitative epidemiology, we have 200 villages visited, 2,000 small ruminants, sample for serology testing, 1,600 bed sample for serology and virus for the ND, while for the qualitative epidemiology, we have 20 villages visited with 40 focus group discussion conducted with smallholder farmers. So results, the finding for PPR, we found very high rates of village positivity and with self-prevalence of 36.6%. And we found that animal characteristics such as age and species affects the self-prevalence of the disease. And we also found that only 4 villages with self-prevalence were significantly higher than 70%. So, of all the diseases, 2 were mentioned, but we found that Zao is the most commonly named used for PPR-like syndrome, and it has the most devastating disease based on the feedback from the farmers. And mobility with Zao was reported to be higher in goats than sheep, while mortality with Zao was similar between the 2 species. For ND, we found animal prevalence of 23%, but we also found out that in 1 village it was up to 7%. And for the ND, species was not playing any significant role in prevalence. However, we found out that rearing of different backyard poultry encouraged cross infection. We also found out that lactogenic NDV gave 97% positive samples. For the PPR, Zao and Mura were the most likely diseases that were closely linked based on the description from the farmers to ND, and they were also the most devastating diseases. For Zao, the most frequent symptoms were diarrhea, loss of appetite, death, greenish diarrhea, mobility, 85%, mortality is at 8%. While for Mura, the most frequent symptoms were death, twisting of the neck, loss of appetite, and mobility. 74%, mortality 43%. For the socioeconomics, I'll call on Ms. Young.
Monsieur Mike Mendy from NDRI. I was speaking about socioeconomics of PPR and ND. Our objectives were assessing perceived impacts of ND and PPR by the farmers, which have been presented under the epidemiology part. We also assessed local farmers' expenses and revenues and the nature of the experience and household level, which was one of the questionnaires. So last year, between July and October, we had 20 villages visited, and in each village there were 2 gender groups, a gender group of each male, female group. So in all, we had 40 focus group discussions. And concurrently, we had enumerators going to households to administer questionnaires. So we had a total of 200 days. We also have 1 master students and 2 PhD students. and by the DCD project. So with regards to our interaction with the farmers, their perceived impacts of PPR and mitigation strategies. For them, they mainly sort of like animals as a source of income. Their purpose for keeping this small ruminants, sheep and goat, and it was to cater for school fees, medical bills, and manure. I mean, manure was also a major output for them, for their farm, their pork farms, and the perceived disease was the biggest risk, the average across the groups. And preventive measures they employed was basically vaccination being preferred options, and the source of vaccines for most of them reported were community animal workers. In fact, a lot of them would say their sons that or children that went to school to acquire skills in veterinary healthcare, animal healthcare, diploma level, and the ones that were called if they needed help for vaccines. And generally, the coping strategies can the top three were treatment or attempt to treat, the rapid selling of the animals once they had these outbreaks, and they also slaughtered sick ones as coping strategy. And with regards to a tool we use where they did proportional piling, 30% of the diseases affected by this animal whenever the outbreak comes were sold off or consumed. This is for small ruminants. For the poultry, for Newcastle disease, they also would sell oftentimes to cater for fees, but as compared to the small ruminants, they also would earn more with the poultry and then generate urgent income because it was quick to sell. I mean, it was not a big income. And then big expense. For disease, for perceived risk, they also ranked disease very high. It was a major concern for them. Theft as well was a major concern for them in the villages. And among their preventive measures, they would use medication, local treatment, companion of birds. They didn't speak much about vaccination for poultry. And they would rapidly sell as well to cope with an outbreak and slaughter and consume. For socioeconomics with the household personnel administration and common
Here we present the nature of experience by household according to the degree of severity and try to highlight the possible link between some variable like the mortality of small infants and the cost of vaccination. Okay. When we interview the household according to the mentioned the experiment, most of household answered that the rising food price which the most severe shock that we can you let me, Michelle? Okay. A rising food price like the most severe shock and a conflict and violence like a second most severe shock. But if you try to see the correlation chart for the factor analysis between some variable like mortality of animals and their vaccination, we identified principally two groups of variable. That we are one part of variable that we have the outdoor variable like high mortality and high mortality need vaccination. Okay, and we can classify two groups of household according this group of variable. It's the group of household we allow a non-allocative vaccination and high ruminant mortality, and a high
amount allotted to treating sick small ruminant. And the second group of housing with vaccinated herd, a low quantity of dead ruminant, a lower number of ruminants that fell ill, and lower expenditure of animal health. But the absence of vaccination can explain the high mortality of small ruminants. In addition, the large amounts spent on treating sick animals did not significantly reduce the number of deaths. That is the conclusion that we can have according to the correlation circle of the variable of vaccination. Thanks.
Now, regarding animal mobility, some activity were done during this year to reconstruct the animal mobility network in the 3 states, Plateau, Bauchi, and Kano, and from this to identify possible risk pathways for reintroduction and dissemination of the mostly focusing on small ruminants. So during this year, Sandra and her team, part of their PhD, did a fantastic job to collect data using different approaches. First one was to do some market survey where 100 people were interviewed at each market in 11 different markets between Plateau, Bauchi, and Kano, and asked where they come from and where they're going to with their aims to reconstruct the to add more information about this network. Also, we will done some focus group discussion with actors involved in the trade of animals and consumers further in Plateau State, but also in Bauchi, Kano. And finally, to better understand where the pathways of interaction, what could be the difficulties, and what could facilitate the interaction of PPR in the state. The stakeholder meeting has been done with 30 participants from the 3 states involving veterinary services, farmers, and researchers to reconstruct possible pathways of interaction and dissemination of PPR in the state. Now, several routes of interaction in the stakeholder meeting were identified. And most of the participants stressed out the importance about control posts. There are in these 3 countries, but either there are insufficient or there are not many people that could that work at the control post. So making easier that animals could be introduced illegally in the 3 different countries. Other important point that come out from this discovery is the difference in the timing of PPR outbreaks in the 3 states, and also in the vaccination that is not very well spread according to the stakeholder, and also appear in a period they are not very good, but also about because vaccination is done just during the period of the PPR outbreak, while for Plateau and Kano should be studied better regulation with the demographic trend. And some other points that were very important about surveillance, but also control measure, were logistic support, both in terms of material, but also in terms of cold chains that is not very strong. This is not working very well, and also something related to the involvement of farmers and other actors. So, if I look at the outputs in terms of the survey market, this is just a representation for the Plateau market, and it improves a lot the work that has been done in 2021. And the network that is shown here includes 155 district. Mostly they are in both, and the first analysis show that two groups in danger, one in the north and one in danger, one in the south, are important in GA, so they are mostly exposed to the disease. In particular, Bukuru, it's central to the animal flow in the plateau state. On the other hand, Nasarawa is not even told. It's going to be an important gateway for the introduction of disease or the spread of disease in the other state, in the southern part of the country. What is the next?
Thank you. So we'll continue with what we've done in Bauchi. For Bauchi, we've visited 220 villages, that's across 20 LGA, and 2,200 small ruminant samples were collected for serology. 1,760 beds were sampled for MD serology, while for the focus group discussion, 22 villages were visited, 44 group discussion were held, and then also questionnaires across 220 villages. Is it villages? So this is a picture capturing the male focus group discussion. This is also for the female group focus discussion.
Thank you, Bashir. Just a quick update also on the work on PPRV genotyping that was done at CIRAD, notably with Samuel Mantip of NBRI, and then the follow-up we did with the team at CIRAD. So here's just to remind of what we had found already last year, that doing genotyping across multiple states in Nigeria, we did find an extensive circulation of the lineage 4 of PPRV across Nigeria and also across border with neighboring countries. But all this data was really based on a small portion of the N gene. And once you look at the data from full genome, you realize that there's almost no full genome of PPRV that has been sequenced for this African lineage 4. We have a lot from the Asian one, but nothing. Actually, there's only one sequence, is from Nigeria, 2013. So really like the effort this year and last year was to have some more new complete PPRV genome from Nigeria, from the samples that were collected in Plateau and Bauchi. So we have 4 new full genome sequences, and basically we can see with the tree that here you have all the full genome that have been sequenced before. Most of them are from this kind of what we call the Asian lineage, but right here in another route, we have this African lineage where there was only one sequence, and now we've added 4 new ones. And this is really not just for the sake of research, it's really important to have this full genome sequence, because we need to understand why this lineage 4 is spreading so fast now, because the same genotyping data or study that was done in 2013 showed still a lot of lineage 2. 5 years later, it's almost completely changed for lineage 4, and we find this lineage 4 going into Ivory Coast, into Ghana, into Senegal. And does it mean that it has acquired new adaptation to be spreading faster? Does it mean that it will be harder to control? And one way to look at that is to look if there is any genetic changes, and for that we need to compare the full genomes from what we have now from what was before. So we need more full genomes, and here with this work in Nigeria we are really at the forefront of the study of the evolution of the PPRV virus. So I will leave the floor for Bashir for the what's next.
So regarding what's next, as you know, we've carried out a survey in Bauchi. So the next action will include data analysis of batch survey, and then to conduct survey in Kano State. So we were hoping that we'll be able to start towards the end of this year. We don't know for certain if that will happen. However, God willing, 2023 we will be running the survey in Kano State. So the plan is to carry out quantitative epidemiology to assess the immunity coverage of the small ruminant population, because during the advocacy, we were told that Kano is in the practice of vaccination. So for this, the objective had to change from what we did in Plateau and Bauchi. So here for Kano, we will be assessing if the immunity coverage for small ruminants is as expected, since they carried out vaccination practice. And then for qualitative epidemiology, we'll collect farmers' knowledge about the disease. We'll also carry out socio-economic survey to assess impact and their mitigation strategies from the lives of farmers in terms of expenses, revenue, and main shock experienced by households. And then we hope that feedback will be given to the communities in Bauchi and Plateau about the main findings of what we've done so far. And then also we'll look at the study of evolution of the immunity for the PPR in Africa. And for a quick summary of the key outputs of what we've done so far, we found out that both diseases are everywhere, despite past control and surveillance actions. We also found out that smallholder understand the impact of these diseases and are keen to get rid of them. Importance of vaccination are better known for PPR than ND by smallholder farmers. The community animal health workers are key actors in giving access to information on diseases and about vaccines to these farmers. Some behaviors of selling infected animals may drive transmission, and good communication may reduce this risk if well passed across to the smallholder farmers. A low prevalence of villages protected against PPR and large connected mobility network involving 98% of the district that increases the risk of diversion of diseases across communities. Some markets, including Bukuru, Nasarawa, dengue, may be more important than others for disease transmission and could be focused for control and surveillance actions. Okay. So thank you.